Welcome back to MMAOddsBreaker. I'm Frank Trigg. This week we're talking to, of course, Gegard Mousasi. He's been on here a couple of times. How you been, bud? I mean, it's been like an up and down last few fights for you. You know, you lose to Machida, but absolutely manhandled Munoz, and then get caught in the third by Jacare. But you seem like you're kind of handling your own, even in the submission department with Jacare. So it's kind of, how's it been emotionally, I guess? Physically, we all know it's taxing, it's tiring. But emotionally, how has it been dealing with these ups and downs of the fight game?
Not so good. I think I had good performances, bad performance. I think a lot to do with mental part. I think with Jacare fight, I just wasn't in the fight. I think I wasn't into. I didn't have the fighting spirit.
Oh,
I just wasn't into the fight. I think a little bit burned out from all the competition coming from injury
mm-hmm.
and fight getting delayed. I think now I just took my time. I took time off, and I'm good for this fight.
Yeah,
So I think it's mental part with me, and I think once I feel good. I know I can beat any of these guys, and then, but going with the wrong mentality into the fight, not feeling great. You can't compete against the number 2, number 3 guy, Jacare, Machida. They're all number 2 and 3.
right.
I come short on that if you're not ready. If you're
Yeah.
not ready for those fights. So I think that's the biggest issue that I had in those fights, and I think I don't have that with this fight, so I feel good.
Do you think it was a little bit too quick because in between fights, like not enough time to really prepare, like really not to prepare, but to unwind from the previous fight? Because you fought Machida in February, and then you fought Munoz in May, and then you fought Jacare in September. So it was like
Yeah,
almost back to back to back. Like 3 months in between
yeah.
fights is not a lot of time. Do you think it was too
No, it
quick?
was too much.
Okay.
Yeah, too quick, and the fight got delayed. I was
Yeah,
already finished, almost finished the training camp, and then it got delayed for a month.
yeah,
And so a little bit too much. Back to back injuries, fighting, coming from injury, going against the number 2 guy, Machida, in Brazil.
yeah,
Not smart things to do.
yeah.
But you learn from it. So I'm going to take my time after this fight. Uh, uh, I'm going to do what's good for me.
Well, his next fight coming up, Henderson. He's old. I mean, it's Dan's one of my friends, and it's like we still talk about it. He's an old guy. Like he's old. Not only is he old as far as age goes, but he's old in competition. He's been a competitor since he's been about 6 years old. Like he's been in
Yeah.
active, high level competition since he's 6. But that makes him very
Yeah.
dangerous because he's very educated on how fights go and how fights progress. Did you have to
Yeah.
deal with a lot of that wisdom? Are you dealing with a lot of that mentality of having a very wise fighter? Is that part of the training camp?
Yeah, definitely. His experience, his season, but on the other side, I think all those years of competition, it wears you out. And that's exactly what I think is happening now with Dan Henderson. He's just worn out.
Mm-hmm.
You can't compete year in, year out against. So I think that's the problem with Dan now. But still, he has the experience and the knowledge. He's smart. So he's gonna fight. He's gonna try to fight his way to still that's the experience you get being a competitor for so long. So I shouldn't be fighting at his rhythm. I'm gonna push. So I'm gonna fight. I say because if I do that, even he's old, he's gonna still have a good fight.
Yeah.
If I fight his fight because he has the experience. So I have to fight my fight. That's the most important in this fight.
How much time are you spending on wrestling in this fight? Because we know how good Dan is as a wrestler, but he really hasn't been using his wrestling all that much lately. In his last couple of fights, he's been a lot more using it to fake you out, to try to get a big heavy punch on you, as opposed to going for the takedown.
He's more of a stand-up fighting now. I think he's not that explosive as he used to be, but I think with me he will try to take me down a lot more than I think with his previous fights, thinking that it's a weakness. But so I expect him for to go more for takedown, but still he's more of a stand-up fighter now than using his wrestling. But for this fight, I've trained to go hard for 3 5-minute rounds. So if I get on the bottom, I shouldn't stop. I'm just gonna keep working till I'm up. So that's the mentality that I'm going into the fight, and knowing that, I don't think wrestling will be a big factor because I'm gonna push the pace.
In best case scenario, you win this fight relatively easily. Say you finish Dan in the first round and you come out unscathed. How much we talked about before? You need more time between fights to relax and rest before you start another training camp. How much time will you take off after this fight? Do you think?
Definitely take 4 or 5 months before my next fight, and then after that, end of the year, that would be fun. I think, and then it's enough, and that's my goal. Maybe to get 2, 3 wins in this year, and then maybe be a contender next year again. So that's my goal for this year. So, but like I said, I'm gonna take my time between fights, heal up, feel like wanting to fight again because for this fight I have that. I just want to go and just fight. I don't. In my previous fight, I've been too much just more being defensive fighter. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be a defensive fighter. I'm always going. I was more of a forward going fighter, aggressive fighter, and lately I've been changing too much and too much patient. I should be what I used to do always: aggressive, go forward, and go for the to bring the fight to him. That's what I want to do now, and then heal up and take my time again before my next fight.
Do you recognize the signs now that now you've gone through it? Do you think you'll be able to recognize the signs of, hey, look, it's too much. Like I need more time, or I need a longer break.
Yeah, definitely. When I was younger, I was able to do that.
Yeah.
I'm getting older. Also, I'm also burned out a little bit from all those year competitions. So I should be smart about it. And
Mm-hmm.
in UFC, you don't get chumps. You get the number 2 guy, the number 3 guy, the number 7. You're fighting the best of the best. You can't think, okay, oh, easy fight. I take the fight. I take the fight. It's not like that anymore. You have to take your time between fights.
Now in the future, and obviously not for this fight. I mean, because you're doing so well in your training camp this fight, but in the future, would you call your manager Nima and say, look, I'm not ready, I'm not prepared, like I can't, I'm in training camp, I've tried a couple of weeks, we got to pull out of this fight, I'm not ready to go. Will you be able to do that
Well,
now?
yeah, definitely. I'm not gonna take any fight because after the Mark Munoz fight, I got a call from UFC and they wanted me to fight Jacare.
Mm-hmm.
After that, they called me for Fito Belfort because Fito Belfort fell off, and we were even thinking, okay, let's take that fight. But that was in 2, 3 weeks. I wasn't in shape at all, but I still was thinking of taking the fight because I was thinking of, oh, it's a great opportunity. I could maybe win and get the title shot. But I know it's not like that anymore. So I just have to take my time because I'm taking too much big risk. And once you're not ready, you can't compete against the top level guys. So even if I feel like I'm unscratched, uninjured, I can fight again. I'm still gonna be smart about it and take my time.
What are you going to do in your time off when you have a break? What's the number one thing that you like to do when you have a break? You don't have to worry about fighting, don't have to worry about training. What are you going to go do?
Well, I'm gonna take a full month off. Not full month. I'm gonna go do some strength trainings, a little bit technique training. I'm just gonna keep that, but I'm gonna just go and enjoy a little bit life, a holiday maybe. Just doing nothing at least. That's the plan after the fight.
Well, most
You,
Americans, we don't get it that, like where you live, you're in Amsterdam right now, and within 6 hours of driving, you can cross through 5 countries. And
yeah,
it's very easy to go on holiday over here. For us, it's like, well, I'm going to LA. I'm living in Las Vegas. Like, I'm going to go to LA
yeah,
for the weekend, or I'm going to go to San Diego for the weekend. We don't really think about, hey, I'm going over to France. I'm going to go jump into France for a week, or I'm going to jump over to
yeah.
London for a week because it's so close. When you travel and go on holiday, where do you want to go? Are you going,
Well,
over to Turkey, or are you going to jump all the way over to Jordan? Like, where do you like to go when you go on travel? Because you're so much.
well, after this fight, I'm gonna take a week off and then gonna go skiing in France and Switzerland. So I think I need a good break, and I like skiing, so maybe I'll do that twice this time.
Are you a
So
skier or are you a snowboarder?
skier, I did once, but then I got injured, so I didn't go do that anymore. But now my knee is healed up all 100% again, so now I feel I can do it again without taking any risk.
Do you have a group of friends that you go skiing with, or are you just alone, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
just you
definitely.
take
We're
off and
gonna
go skiing?
go with the car. We're gonna go to France with a group of 5, 6 guys, and
Perfect.
just yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks like up in Denver. A lot of the guys that fight that train up in Denver because Denver's Colorado's up in the mountains.
Yeah,
They go skiing when they're done. They take the week or the 2 weeks
yeah,
after and go skiing. It's really not physically relaxing. Skiing is it's very hard. It's very taxing on the body because especially depending on how good a skier you are. I don't know what the
not so
rate.
good.
Okay, see, I used to ski when I was little. I'm not very good. I'm trying again now, but I'm not very
Yeah,
good. But there's some guys out there that hit like black diamonds, and they're hitting all sorts of real tough, and it's just after a fight.
yeah,
Physically, it's not very relaxing, but mentally, it's so relaxing because you're on the slopes, you're screwing off, you're doing, you're drinking the whole time, you're hanging out, you're chasing girls down the hill, you're doing whatever you want. Um,
yeah,
I know physically it's not. You said before you got hurt, doing it, so
yeah.
your knee wasn't as good. Do you find it though super mentally relaxing, or do you come down off of all day skiing where you almost feel like I've got to sit down and train again? I've got to take some time off and kind of recover, like take my recovery drink and my recovery pill, or do you find it so mentally relaxing you don't have to do anything but just sit by the fireplace?
Well, skiing is, it's like adventure. You go mountain up, you come down, you go to another mountain, you come up. It's a little bit like when you go to bike riding with friends. It's a little bit like that. It's like an adventure. So you go. It's relaxing, but it's also a little bit adventure and exercise. So it's all that. That's why I enjoy it. It's a active holiday. You just don't sit the whole day under the sun doing nothing. That's why I enjoy skiing, and it's gonna keep me busy, and that's why I like it. So yeah, gonna do that for maybe 1 week, and then take a week or two, and then do it once again, maybe.
That I'm going to admit I'm a little jealous. I would like to be able to go skiing as much as you,
Yeah, France.
especially in France.
Yeah, France is good. I forgot the place name, but it's really good because it's always also sunny there. You can
Yeah.
even ski with just t-shirt on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Last time we were there, it was hot. You could just ski with your the t-shirt. Yeah.
Wow, that
Yeah.
now makes you really jealous because that's the biggest thing for me is getting dressed up and everything and not getting
Yeah.
cold. So
Yeah.
let's talk real quick. Last question before I get you out of here. Your
Yeah.
fights in Stockholm, Sweden. Do you
Yeah.
do you like Sweden? Are you comfortable there? Because a lot of people talk about jet lag and going to different cultures and having problems trying to find the right food and trying to find the right stuff to drink. I mean, are you comfortable in Sweden? Do you like going over there?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I've been there before. It was an easy flight. This time I have a bunch of 20 guys coming with me.
Oh,
Uh, the whole training, I say everyone is there. Even my surgeon, my physio, my old boxing coaches, everyone is there. So it's fighting at home actually. It's not. It's
good.
a big advantage, let's say. And this time I've been keeping my diet strict, and so I just have to lose a little bit, maybe 10 pounds, 12 pounds.
Okay.
So it's gonna be easy weight cut also. So I'm gonna be there feeling ready. So it's a big deal for me to fight in Sweden.
Gegard Mousasi is getting ready to fight Dan Henderson, UFC on Fox 14, of course, here in the States. You can see it on the Fox networks. January 24th in Stockholm, Sweden. Gegard, thanks for coming on here, man. I really appreciate it. It's great
No
talking
problem.
to you again. Have a great rest of your training camp and have fun skiing after. We'll talk to you
Thank
later
you
on.
very much. Thank you, Frank.